Now the revenues are going to be beginning in the first year as well, and we write equals, since we've sold 100. But now let us select this entire block so it has the name demand. Thus our revenues are demand multiplied with the market price. Yeah, here it is. This is the revenue. In the first year the revenue is 1,625. Now the production costs, these equal our units produced, we have to select a long block again, times production cost. Remember that here it is, up there when we have single cells like production cost, which means refers to the single product produced. Our name is in a singular, production cost. Here, since we're computing costs for many periods, we call it production costs in plural. So here it is, units produced times production cost is our production costs. Okay, so in the first period, 1,225. Now to the penalty, now to the holding costs. And holding costs, well, it will be easy to just say, since we have in inventory, the 50, we would just have to multiply it with the holding cost, and that's it. But not quite. Namely, here we only have to have holding costs if our inventory is really positive, if there's something in the warehouse. If the inventory later on will be negative, we will have as our holding cost, we will have 0. Thus, as it was already said, we need an if. Equals if ending inventory is bigger than 0, then the formula we entered, multiplying the ending inventory itself with the holding cost. Semicolon. And the other case, in the other case, we have just a 0 as our holding cost. If the ending inventory is negative, we won't have holding costs. Enter. Here it is. This one has the holding cost of 300, and now the penalty cost. We write equals and we take again ending inventory, and we want to multiply it with the penalty cost. And of course this only happens when the ending inventory is negative. So once again we have to, for penalty cost, write then if parentheses begin, if ending inventory is less than 0, then we have ending inventory times penalty cost. Otherwise it's a 0, but there's going to be one problem here. We'll say it right away. Namely, okay, if ending inventory is negative, then we calculate the penalty cost as ending inventory times penalty cost. But now the problem is that remember, ending inventory itself here is negative, which means that we would get a negative number as a penalty cost. Remember that a negative cost is like a a revenue. So we would again be getting money, which means that it's really simple. We just have to write minus ending inventory times penalty cost. One more time. Since ending inventory is negative for us to have any penalty costs, the resultant formula, ending inventory times penalty cost, is going to be negative as well. Thus we have to flip it to the positive side so that it will be a positive number, because in our problem all the costs have been said to be positive. So we will have positive revenues, positive costs, and we will get our profit from them using a coherent formula. Okay. And here it is. This time penalty costs are 0. And now bottom line is, in other words, profit. Profit equals revenue minus production costs minus holding costs minus, and now penalty costs are always positive as well, so we subtract the penalty costs. Okay, so here it is. This is the formula for the bottom line, or the profit. We copy them all. So here they are. As we see, the revenue is calculated at first. Then we will have production costs, which are the same because we produce the same amount, and we have either holding costs in the beginning or penalty costs in the end. And we have our profits. In the last year, the penalty costs are already so strong that this, in the last week, that this period will result. If we were to separate this last week, it would already be just losses. And now we write equals sum of our bottom line. And we see that our total profit is $1,855. Okay, now the next step